Good morning, folks. John Adamson, the Rehab and Documentation Guru, driving down my very bumpy drive, which is almost a mile long. It actually abuts two other properties, and we're the last in line. But anyway, I'm going to make a quick video. I'm getting ready to head to the airport. That's the baseball cap, not a normal attire for heading out to work. And flying to Indianapolis today to speak. And then I'll be tomorrow in Indianapolis speaking, and then in Cincinnati, Ohio the next day. And I thought I would just make a quick video on dynamics of speaking groups, because some of you may be interested in speaking. Some of you might even be speakers, I don't know, who watch this video. And I just want to talk about what I like, and you may or may not agree with this, but I like a group from a speaking perspective of about 20 to 30 people. That seems to be about the sweet spot for best dynamics. And what I mean by that is this: when you're public speaking, one of the things you want to be is dynamic. If you are not a dynamic speaker and you're teaching for multiple hours, you are not going to keep everybody's attention, and people are going to be falling asleep. One of the things that I regularly shoot for, and I get comments on this from my courses, is that people saying, I was expecting to find a very dry topic, but you kept me awake the whole time. You kept my attention the whole time. And I strive for that comment, because if I lose people's attention, the information doesn't get through to them, and therefore they've wasted their time and money. So I want to keep them involved. So if you have too small a group, so I've had on occasion under 10 people. I even had one time they had me speak to a group of 4. They didn't cancel that for some reason. And that is a hard size to teach to, because when you have that size group, being extra dynamic looks foolish. You look like an idiot trying to be a circus performer, and then you get this little tiny crowd going, yay, which is not the response you want, basically. So that's a really hard size, is 4. But then let's talk about once you get above 30, at least in my experience. Then you start to lose interactivity. So in small groups can be like this too. It's kind of interesting. Like, I found the sweet spot, again, tends to be about 20 to 30, sometimes a little bit more. If you have that size group, people do tend to interact. But if you get too small, I think people are like, well, none of the other 3 people here are saying anything, maybe I shouldn't. Or if it's too large, people get stage fright asking questions or making comments. So that 20 to 30 person's group size is about ideal. And people engage. You usually get at least a few people who are ready, willing, and able to ask questions and make comments, and that's always good. I mean, some people might feel that public speakers, for the most part, don't like to be interrupted, and there might be some that are like that. Like if I was giving a sermon in a church, I don't usually shoot for interactivity, although sometimes I have when I've done preaching. However, when you're teaching a 6-hour course, you want people to be asking questions, making comments, bringing up their own expertise, what they've seen, because that causes the other people to pay more attention too. Because if one person's speaking the whole 6 hours, generally you get mental disengagement. But if other people start asking questions, it perks up the other people, wakes them up, and they start paying attention again, and then you have them for a window again. So anyway, we want that interactivity. So too small, you lose the ability to use really a theatrical presentation, and too large, you lose that interactivity. And that sweet spot is what a public speaker is really looking for. Of course, if I was getting up there and telling nothing but jokes, I could handle a large audience. But when you're teaching didactic material, it becomes a lot harder to get a large group dynamic working well. Anyway, John Adamson, the Rehab and Documentation Guru. I'll talk to you next, probably from Indiana. Take care and God bless.